What is going on, fam? In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down a full day of eating really easy, tasty meals that are quick to prepare that will make you look and feel fabulous. So I want to quickly explain how exactly it is that I think about my meals and what are the kind of 3 things that I focus on to ensure I'm getting what I need. Well, the very first thing is that they are high protein. Getting enough protein is one of the biggest factors that will determine whether or not you're going to be getting great results. Why is that? Because protein is the building block of muscle. You cannot build muscle if you're not giving your body what it needs to build muscle. And yes, you do want to build muscle if you have ever said, I want to get toned or I want to tone up. That literally means that you want to gain muscle and decrease body fat. I always try to aim for at least 100 grams of protein per day, and this is also what I coach my clients on, and even better if I can get around 30 to 40 grams of protein per meal. So how do you know how much protein is actually in a meal? Well, the only way you can know is downloading an app like MyFitnessPal, logging in your food for the day, and that will tell you how much protein you're actually having. I know that might sound a little bit tedious, but trust me, it is so worth it to track at least for a period of time so that you can get the hang of the way that you're actually supposed to eat. Which brings us to the next thing that I focus on in my food, which is getting enough for my energy requirements. So again, one of the biggest lies when it comes to food and fitness for women is they think they have to eat very little in order to look great and in order to look feminine. And of course, this is what they do. They cut calories, they cut carbs, and then they just end up exhausted, miserable, and skinny fat. They don't even look how they want, and they definitely don't feel how they want. And that is because you are not supposed to starve yourself to get fit. You actually need to eat a lot of really good food. Food is your friend, not your enemy, because you have to think of it as you need to give your body fuel. You need to give your body energy, and that literally is your food. So I also like to usually log everything that I eat in a day just so that I can make sure that I am getting enough of what I need, enough total calories, that I'm also getting a high carb intake, which I know also sounds confusing, but carbs actually really help you to have a lot of energy and also to help you with lifting heavy weights in the gym, which is my favorite way of working out. So you're gonna see in this video that I use a digital kitchen scale, and I actually weigh out what I use, and I do it super quickly, super easily. A lot of people think that getting a kitchen scale is like this crazy thing and that weighing your food is going to be so exhausting and just so over the top, but it really only takes you 1 extra second, and then you know for sure that you are getting the right portion sizes. Again, you don't need to track and measure your food forever, but I really recommend doing it for a period of time. And when I work with clients, I teach them how to do it quickly and easily, and they start getting such insane results so fast because they are finally giving their body the right amount that it requires to reach its goals. All right, so the third thing that I think about when it comes to my food is just that I get a lot of clean, natural, whole foods. Now, I'm not one of these people who says that you have to eat clean, natural, unprocessed foods 100% of the time, but you definitely want to eat them the vast majority of the time. Personally, in my house where I cook the majority of my meals, I really only keep clean, natural foods on hand. I don't really use any processed foods at all in my cooking, and instead, I kind of reserve that for when I go out to eat on the weekends and have more my cheat meals, or what I like to call my enjoyment meals. So the closer a food is to exactly the way it came from Mother Nature, the better it is for you. For example, something like an apple or a cucumber or a potato, all of these plants are so freaking good for you because it literally grew on the tree or grew in the ground exactly like that. So that means it's going to have so many nutrients, it's going to be really low in calories, but high in fiber, high in those micronutrients, so you're gonna be full very easily and energized as well. So personally, one of the biggest keys to your success, and this is something I also coach my clients on, is just to make sure that your kitchen is always stocked with plenty of good food. So make sure you have your whole grains, so things like oats, brown rice, quinoa, clean breads, clean natural pastas, potatoes, beans, those kinds of things. Have your healthy fats, so your clean oils like olive and coconut oil, avocados, natural peanut butter, cheese, that kind of stuff. And then also have a bunch of fruits and vegetables, and it doesn't matter which ones they are, you want to get all of the different colors and eat a big variety. And also have your lean proteins, chicken breast, you can get turkey, you can get fish, seafood, you can also get lean red meat, which I personally don't really use much, but you definitely can. Eggs, yogurt, milks, and of course a high quality protein powder is another really good staple to have on hand because it's going to help you to get so much more protein into your diet. All right, so that is the way I think of my food, that is the way I teach my clients, and they also have huge success so fast. They transform how they look and feel inside and out for life, and you're gonna be able to do the same if you follow how I make my meals in this video too. So follow along with me. All of these meals are high protein, quick, easy, delicious, with very minimal ingredients that you can get on hand and keep in your house all of the time. So follow along with me and let's do this. Hey there fam, in this video I'm gonna show you how to make a breakfast yogurt parfait bowl that is really high in protein. Okay, so I'm gonna put the bowl on the scale, set it to 0. Okay, then I'm gonna weigh out 1 cup of this, which is gonna be 250 grams. Okay, now I'm gonna add in my scoop of protein powder. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just mix that together. Okay, now I'm just gonna chop up my fruits. Okay, I'm just gonna add the final touch, the berries. Okay, I'm just gonna sprinkle my granola on top like that. Okay friends, there we go. Hey fam, I just got back from the gym and I am starving, so I'm gonna make a really quick, easy, but super filling meal, and that's gonna be a cheesy balsamic chicken pasta. So follow along with me and let's do it. Okay, first I'm just gonna put some water in this pot and set that on to boil. And we're just gonna add in a little bit of salt, and then once the water is boiling, I'm gonna throw the pasta in. So our pink Himalayan salt. Setting it on to boil. Okay, the next step is gonna be just cutting up some chicken and weighing it out on the pan so I know exactly how much I'm having. So usually I always go for 150 grams of chicken per serving because that's a lot of protein. Okay, so we got exactly 300 grams of raw chicken breast in there, cut up into pieces, so that's 2 servings at 150 grams each. So this is a goat cheese balsamic vinegar dressing or sauce for this pasta, which maybe sounds weird, but it's super good. Trust me, you will love it. So I'm gonna go ahead now and put the balsamic vinegar in it. I'm gonna go ahead and put some pink Himalayan salt on there. Okay, next is going to be the goat cheese, which is going to melt in and make a really nice creamy sauce really nicely. So I'm gonna do 45 grams of goat cheese per serving, which is about 3 tablespoons each. And we're just gonna set that on and let it start cooking and keep the heat kind of medium low so that it's not gonna cook up too fast. Okay, so the water is now boiling, so we're gonna go ahead and throw in our pasta. So when it comes to what kind of pasta to use, you just wanna grab something that is as clean, as natural as possible. A lot of the time I use whole wheat pasta, which is also kind of high in protein, even though it's a carb, so that's always fun. But I also have these kind of grain versions of pasta. So this is a quinoa pasta and this is a brown rice pasta. And a lot of the time you can find like chickpea pasta or red lentil pasta. So it doesn't really matter which one you use. You just want to scan the barcode and track it properly in MyFitnessPal. But all of these are great options. Okay, dump that in. Okay, so for this pasta, I'm gonna be using red bell pepper and red onion, which are some of my favorites for pasta, especially the red onion. I just think it gives it such a nice flavor. Then at the very end, I'm gonna throw in a bunch of spinach. This kind of wilts really quickly, so I just throw it in for like the last 2 minutes so that it doesn't get all soggy. Okay, so red pepper and red onion in there. Chicken is looking pretty cooked. Okay, and the pasta is definitely cooked, so we're gonna drain that now. I'm gonna take the pot I was just cooking it in, set it to 0, and then I'm gonna put the cooked pasta back in so I can know how much it weighs cooked. So it's 530 grams cooked. So that means I'm gonna have like 130 grams for 1/4, and I'm doing 2 servings, so I'm gonna go ahead and put in 260 grams into the pan here. Okay, what I'm gonna actually do is set the scale to 0 now, and then everything that I scoop out, it's gonna go into the negative. So I'm gonna go to negative 260, and then I know that I had exactly half. Okay, so hope that wasn't that confusing with all of the math and everything. There's lots of different ways you can do it. You can also just totally eyeball it and put it in the pan. I do that a lot of the time, but sometimes I just like to be a little bit more precise, and I have the scale right there anyway, so I'm like, why don't I just weigh it out? Okay, so now we're just gonna mix it all together. Okay, and like I said, I only want to throw in the spinach pretty much at the very end so it doesn't get too wilty and mushy. So now I'm going to go ahead and just throw in a big handful, get those greens. This is one thing I love about pasta, is it's such a easy, tasty way to get lots of veggies in. Okay, so you can see what I'm talking about. The spinach started off really big and fluffy, and now it's kind of wilted down a little bit. So it doesn't take up so much space, but you're still getting in the same amount. So yay, more veggies, more greens. Okay, fam, so there is the final product. What's going on, fam? I just finished some stretching and the sun is kind of just setting here, so I'm gonna throw together my dinner. I'm going to be making a really quick, easy, delicious meal, and that's gonna be honey garlic shrimp. So follow along with me, let's do it. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is prep my starchy carbs as always. So normally with a dinner like this, I usually have it with rice or quinoa. I just like those starchy carbs because I like to kind of just mix it together and they cook pretty quickly. And I have a little bit of dry quinoa here, so I'm just gonna cook up what I got. So I'm gonna measure out. Woo. All right, so this is not even a cup, but it just is what I have. So it's just over half of a cup dry quinoa. So you always want a 2-to-1 ratio with rice and quinoa for the water. So I'm gonna do a cup, maybe a little bit more than a cup of water, because it was a little bit more than half a cup of dry quinoa. All right, now we're just gonna put it on the stove and let it come to a boil. Okay, since this is honey garlic shrimp, I'm gonna mince up a little bit of garlic, and I'm also going to dice up my veggie for the meal, which is gonna be some zucchini, because that's just what I got on hand. Remember, you can use any veggie, doesn't matter, but that's what we're gonna use for this meal. All right, just so you guys can see, the quinoa is now boiling. So what we do is we turn it down to a simmer and just leave it there, don't touch it. Keep it covered, exact same thing with rice, and it will just cook through in the next 10 to 15 minutes. I'm gonna mince that up and set the scale to 0. I'm gonna take my olive oil here, or you can use coconut oil, whatever clean oil you like. And we're just gonna weigh out 5 grams per serving, and I'm gonna be doing 3 servings. Another thing that I'm gonna go ahead and put in is gonna be 1 serving of the coconut aminos. Okay, so now we're gonna set this also on the stove, and we're gonna let it start to saute. And as always, I'm gonna take my pink Himalayan salt and sprinkle it on in there for some flavor. So now we just gotta add in the lean protein, and it's going to be really quick and easy because it's shrimp. So I've already got a bunch of de-thawed peeled shrimp here that are raw. So I always buy it in a big bag from the store, frozen peeled shrimp, just because I really hate the process of peeling it myself. But if you don't mind doing that, you can get them more fresh, but I really hate that. So I'm just gonna weigh this out onto the pan. Okay, so that's 300 grams. Okay, now I'm just gonna add the final ingredients. So I'm gonna add in the rest of the coconut aminos, which is gonna be another 2 tablespoons. So that's gonna be 20 grams per tablespoon. Then this is honey garlic, so I'm gonna also be adding in honey. I'm gonna be doing a tablespoon per serving, which is 20 grams, times 3 is 60 grams. All right, spot on 60 grams. Okay, so now we're gonna bring everything over, let it all cook together. And just gonna add in 1 last little bit of salt. All right, and you guys can see quinoa is nice and fluffy, all done. So that's how you do it. You just leave it covered, let it cook through, it'll do its thing. Taking my scale so that I can measure out my amount of cooked quinoa. I'm just gonna have a small amount because I am not actually that hungry. So I'm probably just gonna have 50 grams, which is really not much, but just a little something. Okay, just a tiny little portion there, 50 grams, it's like a 1/4 cup. So maybe it doesn't look that pretty, but all that matters is that it tastes good and that it's gonna get you energized and fit. So give it a go, and I'm sure you will love it. All right, fam, thank you so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss any more awesome videos that I got coming out for you on how to eat, work out, and have the mentality of a badass who looks and feels amazing every single day, year round. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.